All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. Guys, let's check it out.
Fox News confirming at least one aircraft carrier is en route to the Middle East with other military assets from air, land, and sea expected to begin flowing into the region in the coming days and weeks.
There
the
we
White
go.
House still leaving the door open, though, for a potential strike.
Of course.
The president and his team have communicated to the Iranian regime that if the killing continues, there will be grave consequences. The president and his team are closely monitoring this situation, and all options remain on the table for the president. Only President Trump knows what he's going to do, and a very, very small team of advisors are read into his thinking on that.
Senior fellow at the Independent Women's Forum and member of the Council on Foreign Relations, Dr. Kanta Ahmed joins us now. Dr. Ahmed, thank you so much for being here. So the president is sending military assets to the region and all options remain on the table. But there's also this Wall Street Journal report that says President Trump was told an attack on Iran wouldn't guarantee the collapse of the regime. The reporting goes on to say the U.S. officials and Middle Eastern partners told the White House the regime was unlikely to fall after a massive bombing campaign, which could instead spark a broader conflict.
Yeah, I agree completely. I mean, if you're looking for like a literal change specifically, you're going to have to allow the other people specifically in the region to do the majority of this because they have the ability to kind of keep pressure on them specifically. Like one singular raid, let's say, is going to be over, what, a couple hours, and then we're going to move on, and then things are just going to go back to normal. Nah, bro, you have to keep pressure specifically in the region.
Smaller assault packages, meanwhile, could boost morale among protesters,
yeah,
but ultimately not change the regime's crackdown. So taken as a whole, how do you view all of this and where things go from here?
Iran is extremely militarized. The regime is defended by the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, who are loyalists, fanatics, and actually the prime beneficiaries of Iran's corrupt and excavated economy. It is imperative the United States stands with the Iranian people, and I do believe the president will make the decision to strike ballistic missile launchers, manufacturing capabilities, drone factories, a number of other assets to begin with, which can be readily targeted by the United States without ground troops or any kind of invasion, which would be unacceptable for the president and the American people. Regimes don't die overnight, but this is a dying regime. And if we fail to stand with the Iranian people who are being targeted by snipers, shot in the face and genitals, murdered in their cars, meanwhile, we have an unknown body count which exceeds 10,000, some say 12,000 already killed, then we will go down in history as not standing up for the dignity and nobility for almost 100 million Iranians who deserve better.
Yeah, and that same Wall Street Journal report says that there is also a belief that President Trump could simply just be stalling for time in order to give military assets enough time to move into place. There was also this other report, Dr. Ahmed, yesterday about a phone call that President Trump had with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And that reporting says that the Prime Minister encouraged President Trump not to strike right now. And one of the reasons is because he's concerned that a larger conflict could be sparked as a result of a strike, which seems like a unique position for the Prime Minister to take, considering he himself has led the charge on doing that very thing. So what do you think about a potential larger conflict to be manifested after a strike and where the Prime Minister stands right now?
But which direction
So a couple
would they
of
go?
things. First of all, while assets and ships are on the way, the United States has an extraordinary military presence and support from the Kurdish part of Iraq, where we have our biggest assets in Erbil. So we are ready to strike with imminent proximity. Secondly, nobody understands the Iranian threat better than Israel, that's been the recipient of Iran's tremendous proxy wars through Hezbollah and Hamas. And so, as well as the disruption of Syria by Iran and Lebanon by Iran, all of which has surrounded Israel with this awful conflicts. However, we don't know what's coming the day after in Iran. But I do have confidence in the Iranian people. They are highly intelligent. They're part of a 5,000-year civilization. Every Iranian that I talk to detests the tyranny they lived under 51 years, I think today, the Shah was forced out of Iran. And so There are many unknowns, but I think the United States is extremely well positioned, and I have every confidence the president is going to take action and make the best decision. However, what's made of that strike is up to the Iranian people. And we also have to remember Iran has amazing naval assets which control the outflow of oil in the Persian Gulf, and that is extremely worrisome to our Gulf partners and the global energy markets. But we can also manage that. So this is the beginning of the end. An American strike is going to facilitate that, but it is not going to end it overnight.
Sure. Meantime, President Trump and Venezuelan opposition.
Bro, and that's why like a lot of people are like, listen, if you're going to do anything to Iran, it's going to have to be something like you're going to have to affect their oil. Okay. But again, if we do that, my biggest fear is that we're going to be now officially the oil guys.
Leader Maria Corina Machado meeting at the White House where she gave him her Nobel Peace Prize. Watch this.
In spite of the Nobel Prize Committee saying that you couldn't transfer your Nobel Prize to anyone, especially President Trump, you did today.
No.
Why did you do that?
Because he deserves it.
Like she gave him the material.
And it was a very emotional moment. I decided to present the Nobel Peace Prize medal on behalf of the people of Venezuela.
That, of course, Rachel Campos Duffy's interview following that major moment that we all saw at the White House. But listen to this, Dr. Ahmed. A New York Post op-ed explains how capturing Maduro helps the world, saying, quote, what will be the lesson for Xi and Putin of the great Venezuela raid? I would think it's this, that Trump will run enormous risks to protect American interests. Trump has no wish to carve the world like an apple into spheres of influence in which China, Russia, and the U.S. can plunder smaller nations at will. The extraction of Maduro from his Venezuelan fortress has had a domino effect favorable to the U.S., not just in Latin America, but around the world. Dr. Ahmed, explain how toppling Maduro sets up American wins throughout our globe.
I considered this a masterstroke of foreign policy, and really President Trump is to be congratulated. Maria Corina Machado's gesture was extremely touching, but it does represent how the Venezuelan people feel about being liberated from this. This was also the first step in helping dismantle the Iranian regime. Venezuela and Iran had a 25-year agreement of processing crude and refining oil, as well as financing with energy Iran's terror economy. Also, Venezuela hosted Hamas and Hezbollah training camps. Also, Venezuela destabilizes neighboring Colombia, financing the campaign with dirty money of Petro, the ferociously anti-Semitic leader of Colombia that has devastated that country that formerly was an important ally of the United States.
Yeah, guys, I would definitely say Colombia, for the most part, destabilizes Colombia.
So this is tremendous
Venezuela
for Latin
didn't help,
America.
but
Of course, it's great for the United States. It's very good for energy markets. It makes it much more expensive for Russia to prosecute the Ukrainian war, because now people can access more favorably priced oil globally. And it did not result in a bloody revolution in Venezuela. This government now will be under close scrutiny of the United States, so that living standards and conditions for Venezuelans can improve, which will put pressure on Colombia and Iran and repel Russia and China from the region. Extraordinary. And Marco Rubio gets a lot of credit for helping inform the president.
The hardest working man in the world, Marco Rubio. He has
okay, guys. Okay. Yes, bro. Oil. Of course, they mentioned oil like probably 11 times in the video here, guys. But here's the thing. Sending like a U.S. aircraft carrier specifically to Iran, right, is going to be interesting because, again, I mean, every time we've seen some type of movement, something ends up happening. So just based off of the literal track record of what we've encountered, at least over the last, year, you'll start to realize that, yeah. Once assets start moving into a region, things are going to get spicy here. All right. Now, listen, Trump told Iran, stop this absolute craziness. So then they shut the internet down, so we can no longer kind of see what's actually happening there, large scale. Then Elon Musk basically offers free access to Starlink for people. Then they start targeting people with Starlink because, again, they do not want the information to be leaked outside of Iran, and or they do not want their plight to be seen or heard by anyone else outside of Iran. So this is a very tricky scenario. We do know that these things are happening. They've been happening. It's not like a new thing that's happening specifically, but obviously right now it's a lot worse. It's not on the level of like genocide, which is a great thing, right? But it's not. It doesn't feel that far off based off of some of the numbers, depending on which source you're actually getting them from. Because obviously we have no actual numbers other than what people are basically delivering, and these numbers are varying pretty drastically. So we'll see where that goes here. And I'm definitely standing on the fact here that I don't think that not a single American should lose their life in this issue or incident here. And I definitely stand on the fact that. The people in that specific region needs to be the one that are handling the majority of this large scale here. Now, also taking out specifically like their heavy machinery. Let's just say this here. I don't really see how that's going to do much here. Truth be told, here, the regime is not going to kind of alter itself in any meaningful way by doing that here, because if they were, when they were basically struck a couple of months back, let's say. Something drastic would have happened then. It didn't. Okay, it just didn't. So there's going to have to be something a lot harsher and faster, and maybe something that doesn't specifically, align with our laws in the United States of America. Let's just say this here. This is another reason why I'm pointing out one of the other countries in the region that specifically do not adhere to our laws. Right, can handle it because yeah, guys. Handle it. You guys got to handle it yourself. I think personally. I think if we could help, we should definitely help. But I don't think that a single American life should be lost over this.
Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.